Sure, hockey.
Go ahead and go for coach.
Go ahead.
Coach, you guys
Yeah.
had some success against Iowa. Are there any moments or memories that stand out more than the other ones in your time here?
No, because every good one, there's a bad one. You know, it's one of those things where they go back and forth. But I mean, that's how rivalry should be. You know, they're physical games, and so we've been on both ends of them. But there obviously, like I say, there's good ones, but there's some pretty bad ones too.
Tracy, when you guys went there last year, your D-line was so beat up and they really, were able to run the ball. How much better equipped do you think you're at right now, especially on the D-line?
We're healthy, so, we'll see. That's a good thing about playing on Saturday. So we have our guys back in the D-line that are healthy, and on both sides of the ball, if you look at the game, I mean, that's who wins it, whoever controls the line of scrimmage. And so, that's why you play the game, and it'll be our best versus their best, and whoever wins, obviously, up front will play a big part of whether we win the game or not.
How would you assess the defensive line through 4 games?
I think we've been very consistent, and they've played. They're better than they were a year ago, and I think they continue to improve. However, I think they will tell you we're leaving a few plays out on the field that they could help with us in the secondary if they would finish off a few more plays.
Along those lines, what do you think the keys are? You guys were so good against preventing the big play in recent years, just to get back to that.
Well, here's the thing: is that the big play thing is that obviously sometimes it's mistakes, sometimes you just get out athleted, and sometimes it's not playing very smart. I mean. And then you throw into the fact that it's not always the same person. I mean, it's somebody different every time. If it's the same person, it's easy to correct. You find somebody else. But right now, it's different people at different times of the game, and it's that inconsistency that is driving it. So we will continue to work on it. We've watched a lot more film as a team together this week to point out the importance of doing your job on every play, because everybody in the room's relying on you. And, hopefully that those things will start to go away the better we coach and address them.
You got Winfield in camp. Did you anticipate he'd have this kind of role this soon?
Yes, he was one of the young freshmen that we identified early. Now, I wouldn't tell you necessarily this much, but each week he's kind of went along his plans. We've increased his role as he gets more comfortable each week, because he's a good football player. He's got awfully good instincts, so we'll continue to increase his role up to the point that he can handle it. But at the same time, we got to remember he's still a freshman.
Tracy, you rotate the running backs throughout the game. Is that your call as to who goes in when, or how is that decided?
No, I don't do that with any position. All the position coaches decide who's in the game and when. I mean, they're with them all the time in practice and meetings, so I don't tell anybody who they have to play.
Jay, then?
What's that? The position coaches are the ones who decide who's in the game.
Tracy, the players were cleared of charges from Hennepin County. Any update on their suspensions?
No, they're going to return to practice, so we'll go from there day by day. But, yeah, they will return to practice today.
They have a chance to play Saturday?
We'll just see. We'll go day by day with it.
Would there be any conditioning factor with them, or is that something that they should have been taking care of while they've been suspended?
I don't know. They haven't been involved in anything, and so I'll know a lot more at practice today how that's all affected.
Tracy, will Jay be here throughout the week, or kind of what's his status?
Is that he will. That's and I don't want to get into a lot of the details, but that is a true football family, and his dad has been great for high school football in the state of Minnesota, and his mother understands football, and he passed before the game, but she also knew that not to call until after the game, and she knows how important football is to their family and it is to Jay, and so they're going to work around that schedule and all that to allow Jay to be here as much as he wants to be here. At the same time, he knows from me whatever time he needs to take care of family issues, he has that time, and we'll find a way to get along. But he's a great person. That's a great football family. Very, terrific addition to our staff, and feel bad, but a couple of these issues, timing hasn't been our thing this fall, but you know what? You just keep moving on, and it's a cruel world, as I said before. It doesn't slow down for you, and we'll get through it.
You did a lot of things other than coaching. How do you prepare for that as a head coach to deal with all the stuff, the administrative, the off the field stuff that you have to deal with?
It's a good question. Is that personality? I still think plays a big part of some of that. Is that it rattles you for a little bit, good and bad, when things like that happen. And I'm usually the type that give me 30 minutes or so, and I can get things back in perspective a little bit again, and then it truly does come back to address them one at a time. You have to put an importance level on them, and you go one at a time, and we talk about a lot of things very openly as a team when we do our team meetings when these things come up. And just like I told our kids, if there's something that Coach Johnson needs, they need to help him, take care of him, and no different. Coach Sawvell's father passed away during fall camp, and I thought the kids did a good job of handling it there. But somewhere you got to put it all in perspective, and it's like Coach, he says, take care of the kids. Well, in general, it's take care of people in general, and that's where it has to go. And at the same time, you have to realize is that the game's still going to be played, and so while you're here, we ask our kids and our coaches when things like that happen, is while they're here in the building, is that we're working on football and concentrate on it, and then we make sure that there's time during the day to think about those other things that happen.
Coach, you were very serious about handling the Jalen Waters hit. Can you shed any light on what you plan to do there?
Yeah, it's been taken care of, in my opinion, and the Big Ten it was not an illegal hit. It was not targeting. It was late, but it wasn't like 5 seconds late, but it was illegal because it was late after the whistle, but it was to the shoulder. It was not to the head, and he's paid his penalty, and we're going to move on.
Do you see Brian Smith taking on a bigger role after his game against Penn State?
No, I don't. I just see him keep doing the same thing. Our receivers are catching the ball, and who's ever open, that's who we want Mitch to throw it to and catch it, and Brian has grown up and matured a lot and played a lot more consistently, and I'm glad to see good things happening for him. But we just need to keep catching the ball the way we're catching it, and when it's thrown to you, but Mitch at the same time needs to keep going through his progressions and throwing it to the guy that's open.
Tracy, there at the end of the first half, are you, when you're in those situations, are you always going to err on the side of being aggressive and trying to go get points, or being? Always
is a bad word. Just like never is a bad word, is that my philosophy in general on that is if you can get out to around the 25-yard line, I'm not afraid to go try to get something, if you have a timeout or two left, and if you don't, then there's no sense in it. But and a lot of that has to do with we have a senior quarterback, controls things very well, and so this year, yeah, but if you get down inside that 20, I usually like to get a first down first, and then try to roll with it.
Tracy, the injury report has added some guys, Zoe Creighton,
Yeah.
Cody.
Zoe's got a foot injury. Cody's a shoulder injury.
Duke.
and Duke is a concussion.
Coney is still.
Yeah, he's still injured. I mean, anybody else? I haven't even changed anybody else. I would tell you that Carter Coughlin, Rashad Steele, Vince Calhoun, they're going to practice this week again. But I thought Vince would play last week, and he didn't. And so we'll have to see how those guys get through practice.
Obviously, you don't know with Duke with a concussion and what happens there, but
It's
the
out
other
of my
guys-
control.
Right. The other guys like Zoe and Cody, are the long-term or?
I don't know, week to week. They're one of those deals. I know they're out this week.
You guys have any more questions for Coach?
Coach, with your decision, you went so well with switching Santoso around and Carpenter coming in. Has that kicking game exceeded your expectations even?
No, I tell people all the time, they got one job to do, kick it through the uprights. How can you not do that? You practice it all the time. I don't care how many people are there. I don't care what down and distances is. The yardage makes a difference, obviously. But we get down the 30-yard line, that's what you do 5-6 days a week, and that's your job. No different than as Mitch is a throw to people. And so they've done a good job. Herbie's the one who gets a little bit left out of all that, is that here's a redshirt freshman who's doing the holding, and that's probably tougher than the kicker's job is making sure the snapping that's down. So it is that if we wouldn't have seen things in practice, and we wouldn't have made that switch. I mean, if he was missing them all the time, we would never made that switch. And so like I say, we thought that was best for the team, but Emma's done a great job. We got to keep the occasional kickoff from going out of bounds. That's another thing I say. You practice it every day. There's no reason for that to happen, and so he knows that. But special teams wise, I thought we did better.
I was rushed. This is the last one for Coach. A little bit down from last year where they were so successful stopping the run. Is it important to get off early, get Shannon and Ronnie going early, especially knowing that they probably want to do the same thing with their offense?
Yeah, I think it's, and I'm not, but everybody wants to get started early. Yeah, I mean, that's the intentions. Nobody has the intentions of starting slow and building up as it goes. We all want to get out of the gate early, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but definitely I think that playing with the lead is important, and able to get the lead, you got to get started early, no question. So that's our intentions every week, and hopefully we can do that. But at the same time, I mean, they know who those two backs are, and so that's why I say it'll be physical and tough, and they're going to make you earn every yard.